Burundi, a small, densely populated nation in East Africa, bears the heavy title of the poorest country in Africa by GDP per capita. In 2025, its GDP per capita stands at a meager $231, reflecting the profound economic hardship faced by its people. This alarming figure represents the combined effects of prolonged political instability, a legacy of conflict, and an overdependence on vulnerable rain-fed agriculture. As we delve into the complexities of Burundi's economic landscape, it's crucial to approach the situation with both clear-eyed analysis and deep empathy for the millions trapped in poverty. Burundi's economy is heavily reliant on subsistence agriculture, with the vast majority of its population engaged in small-scale farming. This dependence on rain-fed crops makes the nation highly susceptible to the vagaries of weather patterns, leaving it vulnerable to droughts and food shortages. Furthermore, Burundi's infrastructure remains underdeveloped, hindering economic growth and access to essential services for much of the population. The lack of adequate transportation networks, electricity, and communication infrastructure poses significant challenges to businesses and limits opportunities for progress. The country's economic struggles are deeply intertwined with its turbulent political history. A brutal civil war spanning from 1993 to 2005 devastated Burundi's already fragile economy, leaving behind a legacy of poverty, trauma, and instability. While the country has made strides towards peace and stability since then, the scars of conflict continue to impact its economic development. Political tensions, corruption, and weak governance further exacerbate the challenges faced by the Burundian people. Despite these daunting obstacles, there is a glimmer of hope for Burundi. The government, under President Evariste Ndayishimiye, has initiated efforts to attract foreign investment, promote economic diversification, and improve governance. However, substantial and sustained support from the international community will be crucial in helping Burundi break free from the shackles of poverty and build a more prosperous future for its people. To truly understand the depth of Burundi's economic challenges, one must look back at its history. The country, like many others in Africa, bears the deep scars of colonialism. Belgian colonial rule, which began in the early 20th century, exploited Burundi's resources and exacerbated ethnic divisions, sowing the seeds of future conflicts. The forced introduction of cash crops, such as coffee, disrupted traditional farming practices and created a dependence on volatile global markets. Following independence in 1962, Burundi was plagued by political instability, ethnic violence, and a series of coups. The assassination of its first democratically elected president in 1993 plunged the nation into a brutal civil war that lasted for over a decade. This conflict decimated Burundi's already fragile economy, destroyed infrastructure, displaced millions, and left deep wounds in the social fabric of the nation. The legacy of this turbulent past continues to cast a long shadow over Burundi's present. The destruction wrought by the civil war set back development by decades, leaving the country with a severe shortage of skilled labor, limited access to education and healthcare, and a deep-seated mistrust in institutions. The trauma of conflict continues to affect the mental and physical health of many Burundians, hindering their ability to participate fully in the economy. Despite these challenges, the resilience of the Burundian people shines through. In the aftermath of the civil war, communities have worked tirelessly to rebuild their lives and create a semblance of normalcy. However, without sustained support from the international community, Burundi's efforts to overcome its history and build a brighter future will remain an uphill battle. The people of Burundi face a multitude of challenges that perpetuate the cycle of poverty and hinder progress. High food insecurity remains a persistent threat, with a significant portion of the population lacking access to sufficient nutritious food. Limited access to clean water, sanitation, and healthcare further exacerbates these challenges, leading to high rates of malnutrition, disease, and infant mortality. Burundi's education system, still recovering from the ravages of conflict, struggles to provide quality education to its young population. High dropout rates, particularly among girls, limit opportunities for personal growth and economic empowerment. Furthermore, a lack of access to financial services, such as credit and savings, hinders entrepreneurship and perpetuates economic vulnerability. The spectre of climate change adds another layer of complexity to Burundi's woes. The country is highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, including more frequent and severe droughts, floods, and landslides. These events threaten agricultural production, exacerbate food insecurity, and displace communities, further straining Burundi's limited resources. In the face of these daunting challenges, it is easy to succumb to despair. However, it is precisely in these moments that the importance of international solidarity and support becomes most apparent. By working together, we can help Burundi address its immediate needs, build resilience to future shocks, and create a more equitable and prosperous future for all its citizens. Despite the enormity of the challenges, there is a glimmer of hope for Burundi. President Ndayishimiye, since assuming office in 2020, has made some efforts to steer the country towards a more promising future. His government has outlined plans to diversify the economy beyond agriculture, focusing on sectors such as mining, tourism, and light manufacturing. Recognizing the importance of regional cooperation, President Ndayishimiye has also taken steps to improve diplomatic relations with neighboring countries, seeking to foster trade and attract foreign investment. There have been some improvements in governance and transparency, although much more needs to be done to combat corruption and strengthen institutions. The international community also has a crucial role to play in supporting Burundi's journey towards a brighter future. Increased development assistance targeted at strengthening healthcare, education, and infrastructure is essential. Debt relief and fairer trade practices would provide Burundi with much-needed fiscal space to invest in its people and its future. While the road ahead for Burundi is long and arduous, it is not without hope. With sustained effort, commitment from its leaders, and solidarity from the global community, Burundi can break free from the cycle of poverty and build a more prosperous and equitable future for all its citizens. The journey may be challenging, but the destination is one worth striving for.